Welcome to another great video, I hope, on doing academic research. My name is Dr. David Strigley, and I am the Chief Academic Officer at Nations University. As you begin your journey through your courses at Nations University, whether it's at the undergraduate or graduate level, you're going to have to write papers. And when you're writing those papers, some of them are going to require you to use outside resources. One of the biggest challenges to students who are studying online is that one of the quickest resources to find information is Wikipedia. However, that's a problem. So in this video, we're going to talk about how not to use Wikipedia in academic research, or how to use Wikipedia in academic research. I think we are all familiar with this website. When you log in and you start looking for definitions or information, Wikipedia shows up. So we all recognize this website. We all know this format. We see it. We're looking up a topic on biblical criticism or Jesuit or anything else, and all of a sudden Wikipedia shows up. And we want to jump to Wikipedia because it has a lot of good information. However, there's a problem, and that is that academia does not recognize this website. In other words, you cannot cite Wikipedia as a source like you would Encyclopedia Britannica. They're not the same. Wikipedia is group sourced, so there's no real way to guarantee the reliability of the information. So when you're looking through a website and you're looking up information and you come to Wikipedia, you're going to see some good information that might or might not be reliable. So does that mean you just throw it away? You're like, oh, it's on Wikipedia, I can't use it? Well, there are some ways to salvage what you read on Wikipedia. You can use it to help you do your research. In other words, you may not be able to use the information directly out of Wikipedia, but Wikipedia has these really helpful numbers called footnotes. And you can see the little golden arrow there pointing to number 1. If you're reading something in Wikipedia and you like it, go down to the source in the bibliography or the reference page at the bottom. So if we look up number 1, we read this definition by Daniel Harrington and we like it. We go down to number 1 and we find the original source. So whoever group sourced this in Wikipedia used this article by Daniel Harrington out of the Oxford Bibliographies. But don't just copy this link onto your essay and say, oh, I use this definition by Daniel Harrington. Instead, click on the link if it's available, like it is here, or just search the article on the internet and find the original article, the original information from Daniel Harrington, where he gives his definition of biblical criticism. So in this case, you just click on the link, and the link takes you to, voila, the original article. Now you can read what Daniel Harrington actually wrote about biblical criticism, his definition, and you can cite this source, not Wikipedia, but the actual source on Oxford Bibliographies. Now you might think this is cheating, but it's not cheating. It's not cheating the system at all, because this technique of using references within references is the heart of good academic research. I actually worked as a librarian for several years while I was in college, and we helped students do this. Look at the footnote, find the good information, and go to the original source. In academia, information is meant to be shared, but it needs to be properly credited to the original author. So if you're reading any book, any website, and there's a footnote, follow that trail. Go to that author's webpage or look up that information from that original author who was quoted in your secondary source and find the original information. By looking up the original reference that's being used by one author, you're ensuring that you have an accurate portrayal of the information from the original author. Remember, a lot of people are just quoting a sentence. out of a much larger article. You can double check to make sure that sentence or that paragraph is not being taken out of context. And of course, it provides you with a credible original source for your information. So as you write your own essay, you're not citing Wikipedia, you're actually citing Oxford bibliographies. So you find this article in Wikipedia, you find the reference at the bottom, you follow the reference. Now you decide you want to use this definition by Daniel Harrington. If you like it, then your bibliography, your reference page should look something like this based on APA 7 style. Harrington, Daniel J. 2011, which is the date the article was originally done, biblical criticism, Oxford bibliography, and then the source of the citation. Don't just copy the other form because that's the wrong format. And definitely do not do this. Harrington, Daniel J., no date, biblical criticism, wikipedia.com. That will fail every time. So nothing that looks like this, nothing about Wikipedia. If you find something you like in Wikipedia, become the detective and track down the source. Use the original information and use that in your paper. You may also find by doing that you find a lot of other good information by Daniel Harrington. That's the beauty of following your references within references. And you can do that with Wikipedia, but you've got to be honest and transparent as you work through your essay and saying, here's this great article by Daniel Harrington, this great definition, and here's where I found it originally, or here's where he wrote it originally in this article. If you do stuff like that, you will do very, very well in the writing of your papers. So I hope this helped you, and I hope that you will continue in your studies and do well in everything that you do. So good luck with your papers, and good luck in your research, and God bless.